case you were wondering, in case there was even a lingering doubt, he's back. Boxing on HBO.
All the legal fighting surrounding the upcoming fight between Buster Douglas and Evander Holyfield is over. The fight is now set. It is official. The announcement was made in New York yesterday. They will meet the first defense as a heavyweight champ for Buster Douglas. It's set for October 25th. And on the scene in New York for this report is Michael Marley.
They're calling this one James Buster Douglas defending his undisputed heavyweight title against Evander Holyfield. The nickname is the Moment of Truth. Just think of it, truth and boxing in the same sentence? It could only happen in America, as Don King might say. But that's the name of this fight. You remember the Thrilla in Manila, Ali Frazier 3. Ali Foreman, that was the Rumble in the Jungle. Now October 25th comes the Moment of Truth. The Moment of Truth for the champion Buster Douglas and the top-rated undefeated challenger Evander Holyfield.
I'm looking to fight Buster at his best. If Buster's not at his best, then that's on Buster. But I feel that when I train for each and every opponent, I look to fight them at their best, whereas there's no excuse. I don't look for Buster to have a bad night for me to be the winner. I look for Buster to have a great night, and I will still be the winner.
I have to say that, Evander's, he's a nice size heavyweight, and a guy with a strong will. Someone had asked, have we fought guys in comparison to one another? And I said, well, I'm sure I have fought somebody or sparred with somebody, but it's not Evander, so I can't bear, have a rating on that because he's a different man. He has different wills in there. So I'm looking at Evander Holyfield, a person. And I think that I have the ability to, take him out.
I feel that when it's come down to, I feel that the competitive part of me is always to win, but I feel that for its ability, I feel that I have just as much as ability, and I feel that when it comes down to heart, I feel that I have what it takes.
Yeah, it's been a change because I enjoy being heavyweight champion. And reflecting back on it is something that I see that I can be around for a long time. I can be around as long as James Douglas wants to be.
I'm a good fighter as well, and I feel that when it comes down to the clinches, deep down inside, I believe I can make Buster quit.
Can you understand why you're the underdog and why you say some people are still leery? Is that because they don't know which is the real Buster Douglas, the guy that demolished Tyson, or the guy from before?
They don't know me, and you guys have been caught up in that neon where it's been total domination. If a guy doesn't totally dominate a guy, then well, he's and now it's a different era. Okay. It's the 90s, baby.
The heavyweight hype has only just begun. There's a long way from now until October 25th. And the Moment of Truth. For the USA Network, this is Michael Marley reporting.
Sean O'Grady, if you were the odds maker, how would you pick that fight?
Well, for that fight, Evander Holyfield has never really faced any great big heavyweights like Buster Douglas is. And I have to give Buster Douglas a little bit of an advantage. Even though Evander Holyfield is a wonderful fighter, I still have to go with Buster. A good big man in boxing, 90% of the time will beat a good little man.
Now, waiting in the wings for the winner of that fight, either Mike Tyson or George Foreman. That's if they don't fight one another. And that leads us to take a look at the final results of our Fight Phone poll last week. Who would win if Foreman fought Tyson? And George Foreman recording a resounding knockout. Around 15,000 calls were made. 70% say Foreman would beat Mike Tyson. And Sean, I think that's a bit of a reflection on the way the public sees these two fighters, all that Mike Tyson has been through. Right now, he's been ticketed as the villain against George Foreman, the hero, and that appeared by many perhaps a popularity vote.
This could very well be just who is more popular. I happen to like it. I like George, and I'd love to see George do some really great things in boxing. I feel, though, that Tyson would beat Foreman. After seeing Foreman against Ken Lacusta, it was my feeling that during his comeback attempt, George peaked a little bit earlier. And I would hate to think that he wasted a peak performance of himself on some of the lesser caliber of competition than a Mike Tyson. But I think that's what has happened.
All right, we have one more KO comment. This is from Rodney Langford from Modesto, California. And Rodney says, champ, I've heard you talk about a fighter overtraining in a fight. Isn't it true that it's best to stay in shape year-round? And if so, how can one overtrain?
Well, Rodney, we may have seen an example of that. I was just talking about Foreman and Ken LaCusta. I was talking about Foreman maybe peaked at an earlier time. What he wants to do is he wants to be at his physical, emotional, and mental best the night he fights. And for him, that he wants that night to be when he fights for the championship or when he fights a Mike Tyson, when he fights a big fight. What I'm fearful of is that he has overtrained himself and he's gotten bored with these less than champion caliber opponents that he's been facing. And I would hate to think that he has wasted his efforts on them rather than on a Tyson fight or a Foreman Douglas fight or Holyfield or someone like that.